Hey there, Axelfire here, and I'm going to do an updated guide to Maraudon farming. It's been a while, but I've changed the method, and I've gone back to doing some Maraudon farming because I was doing Black Lotus farming for a bit, but when Phase 2 dropped, it just made Black Lotus too inconsistent to get. So, Maraudon farming revisited. As you can see, I'm starting off on low resources. That's because I got a little cheeky with my last go on Princess and like actually let her auto me right before she died. I was like really trying to get that soul shard. All right. So the main difference is kind of how I deal with the goblin, and also now that I have gear and people kind of generally have some gear, you can. It's a little easier. So one thing I'm showing you right now is if you have a friend that needs, say, this ring right here, this which is famously a very good melee ring, or they want anything else off Princess, have them stand right where I'm standing, maybe even further in this corner. So long as they're like level 52, they won't pull the Hydra, so long as they're standing right here and don't move. And set the group on to master loot, and you can ship Princess's loot over to this person. All right, so now for the run. I'm going to walk through this. Even though this is an update of the guide, I'm still going to go over the basics, okay? One, if you're an herbalist or a miner, you can make a little bit extra. You saw me run by a mithril there, and there's a blindweed up here. Blindweed on my server doesn't go for a whole lot, so unless it's directly in my path, I kind of am not going to grab it. Ghost mushroom's like the real money thing that you can get in here. Herbalism is superior to mining if if you want to make a decision. If you're running Maraudon a lot, it might literally be worth dropping mining for herbalism. And also as a warlock, ghost mushroom is used to make the elixir. It's something of shadow power. I forget exactly what it's called, but it takes 3 ghost mushroom, so it's kind of nice for me. When you run by this mob here, run around this end, because if you run on this side, this particular mob can like move over there and just like randomly pull. And try to do all of your like mana consuming abilities before you actually get to a boss. So I know I had 4 minutes left there, but we're just going to reapply that. The Goblin Guide isn't really hard anyways. All right. So what I used to do is I used to pull the Goblin with Eye of Kilrog and run to Princess and just stand there and wait for him to come. What I do now is this is a little bit more active. I don't actually know if it's faster, but it's a little more fun, I think. And it's also safer because you can use these ledges to easily line of sight the Goblin. What we're going to do is run down to the Goblin over here. We're going to lead with a Shadow Bolt, and then we're going to go Shadow Bolt into Curse of Doom, and then into Immolate. While he's doing that, we just start running. Honestly, what I could do is do the Immolate first, but I really like getting the Doom on him. We got a cheeky little Nightfall proc here. So I'm going to use this ledge and just throw the Nightfall Shadow Bolt at him. And he's still going to have to run up here and can't really do any damage to me while he's coming up. I try not to get too much distance because he'll like randomly Dragon Gun, and that's like a good time to turn around and reapply dots or even drain soul or shoot Shadow Bolts if you really want to speed up the process of killing him. You're not really in any danger when you're fighting this guy. It's pretty easy. Basically a 3 gold pinata. He's pretty consistently 3 gold. Since you're not going to use the Death Coil, again, might as well just like add the Death Coil in there. And then get a reapply. Use your Amplify Curse if you have Amplify Curse in your build. On this second bit. Because Amplify Curse also won't be back up in time for Princess. Because you're going to do the same thing on Princess where you lead off with a Doom, and that's like an additional minute. So your Amplify Curse will be back up in time. So I'm actually a little far away from him right now, and he's kind of low on health. He's decided to stop a little more frequently on this particular go than he usually does. We want to be getting soul shards off the bosses we kill. So, I actually didn't time that very well. But you want to be getting soul shards. You can maintain your soul shards. Usually you net like 1 soul shard a run. You can also kill these little... If you start running out, some of these worms are level 48, and you can kind of restockpile soul shards off those guys. So on this run, there's a ghost mushroom up here. Usually you don't run up here, but we're going to take a little detour for the ghost mushroom. Because as I said, it's like worth 1 gold. So as you see, this is like my new thing I'm doing with the goblin. We're at the point where with gear where you can probably do what I used to do with the goblin, which is pull him with Eye of Kilrog, pull him to the princess, and you can probably get princess below 25% these days before the goblin gets to you. So that's something you can try out if you're feeling a little frisky. It's certainly more risky, but it's pretty cool because you get like fighting 2 bosses at once, and one of them will never touch you because she's so slow if she actually gets below 25%. I've tried it out a few times, but not recently. I predict if I get a Mage Blade, that'll be kind of the tipping point where it becomes a lot easier. Oh. Okay. Let's not tempt fate too hard with this. Another useful tip is if you have a bank alt, or really any alt, make sure they are up to level 5 so they can disenchant. Because Princess often drops greens, and unless the green is a weapon, it's generally worth it to disenchant, and you'll make more money that way. Depends on your server economy, of course. On our server, I'd say that's definitely worth it. So if you haven't already, this is the part where like I would make my soul stone and my health stone. I actually think I should resummon my Void Walker here, just so my mana's regenerating while walking to Princess. I'm trying to watch that pat, though. Make sure it doesn't pat into me while I'm summoning my Void Walker. Little dubious timing right there, but it's okay. Hey, look. Somebody looking for 2 Warlocks for Molten Core. We did Molten Core this week, though. I mean, I'm not doing, like, outside guild runs. So, when you're running this way, you can run through the middle of these guys if you don't have your pets out. But I always run on this side because there's a sharper drop-off there, and I've missed the waterfall a few times, whereas this is a more gradual slope. And you have a lot less room for error. So, the idea when doing Princess is to use your Void Walker to kind of soak boulders. So what we're going to do is apply all of our dots here, and as soon as we start casting Immolate, pull the Void Walker back to us. So she's already dust fielded. This is like a really good start for us. Then we can use this pillar to kind of kite her back a little bit. All right, that's enough. Make sure she doesn't run around the pillar the wrong way there. All right, so that was a really quick second dust field, too. Took me by surprise a little bit, to be honest. So you can see right there, she threw the boulder at our Void Walker. And you want to keep the Void Walker like this, about 10 yards behind you or so. This makes the Void Walker much more likely to get hit by the boulders. She'll eventually catch up to you and start throwing the boulders at you, but it takes a little bit. So we can actually start seeing her again. Although, we'll see where we're at when the Curse of Doom goes. All right. So we're still in a pretty good place, and she fortunately threw that boulder at the Void Walker. I could tell the Void Walker to start attacking her right now. Doesn't seem terribly necessary, though. So what I'm actually going to do here is health funnel my Void Walker a little bit. Since time isn't really a thing that I need to worry about, and she's almost at 25%, she's going to tick down with these dots pretty easily. It's all right. She's down there. Now she's slowed. Now you just kite her infinitely. We're kind of going through this work to keep him alive, just so you can maintain your soul shards. Or else you will eventually run out of soul shards. And I don't like farming soul shards, so... And you can actually gain soul shards. Like, you can farm up your soul shards for raid doing this. I kind of messed up on the goblin, but... if you do it the right way. So I'm going to throw a Death Coil there, and then we're just going to drain soul. So, oh, we actually did get the soul shard for that. Huh. Oftentimes, if she boulders you while doing that, you won't get the soul shard, but it happens. All right. And that's how you do it. I decided to skip Raka just because he is worth the less out of the least out of the three bosses on average, and he takes a bit more time, frankly, and bag space is kind of an issue sometimes. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll update this guide if I decide to go about this in a different way.